I've had the 2 out, 1 in rule for my closet for a long time. Well, there is an exception, and that's lingerie, but that's a whole nother story. And this is very logical, very practical. But the last couple of years, that wasn't making enough of a dent on my closet. And there was still something about it that wasn't quite right. I kept telling myself, I don't have time to do that. I'll do that, such and such a day when I have nothing else going on. And then that day comes and goes and nothing changes. And quite frankly, at this point, my cats have been using that as a hiding place in order to come out and pounce on each other. So not long ago, I was standing in front of my closet and I was looking at all of the beautiful fabrics. And I've got silks and cashmeres and linens and wools. And each one of them brought about a specific memory. Some of them were custom made for me. Others of them had to be tailored and fitted. And looking at those and thinking about the memory of what was in those when I wore them. It was the tango event that I went to that I had absolutely wonderful time dancing. It might have been when I was speaking in front of a governmental agency. Whatever it was, there were those memories associated with those pieces of clothing. And as I kept putting off cleaning it out, I realized that it wasn't really about the time. It was about facing what no longer fits and what no longer fits me and my body type now, but also what fits as to where I am in my life. And at that moment, it was something that it wasn't dramatic. It was kind of quiet, but I felt a little bit of an ache and almost feeling that sense of loss associated with the fact that I'm not going back there. My waistline is not going to go back to where it was. And that version of who I was when I wore that is no longer there. And looking at the fact that some of those pieces, for example, I had this beautiful cashmere charcoal gray coat, and it was just made my eyes pop. And I wore a dress with it that was structured and fitted in the right places and really flowed beautifully in other places. And I remember one specific evening I had this on and I was going into a restaurant and somebody stopped me and said, "Are you on TV? You look like somebody who's famous." And at that time, my haircut was very similar to someone who was on a very popular TV show. But, it wasn't me. And in that moment, I was thinking, is what I was feeling at that point in time, was that about needing to be seen? Was it about having a presence, about feeling seen and heard? And now the dress doesn't fit. The coat, kind of, but more importantly, neither of those pieces are the version of who I am now. Still a gorgeous coat. And I've gifted it to somebody who it's perfect for. And it made me think about what are the things that we hold on to of what we used to be. And that's one of the things that I talk about in my 21-day reset, because closets are like identities. They get full of stories, and eventually we outgrow those stories. As some of you who remember the way that we used to put on jeans, especially in the 70s and in the 80s, you'd lay down on your bed, you'd pull the jeans on, you'd inhale and suck it in, and then you would zip it up and then roll off of the mattress and have to stand and bend your legs a little bit and move in order to be able to get it so eventually you could sit down and get in the car to go wherever you want to go. And those pants were not very comfortable. And so looking at where I am now and what's going on, okay, so my waist is bigger. It's like 3 inches bigger than it used to be. I have no desire to go back into the suck it in, be uncomfortable, all of those kinds of things with my clothing. Because this body, she walks, she lifts, She dances backwards in heels. She's strong, and she deserves to feel better than what defines by her waist size. And this is one of the many shifts that I talk about in my reset program, because sometimes the first accident of confidence isn't working out. It's retiring the pants that no longer work for you. And let me talk a little bit about Lanny, one of my clients. She realized that her closet no longer fit who and what she was. So one Saturday, she sent me a photo because she really wanted to, let me back it up a second. She really wanted to feel like she owned where she was. And every time she opened up her closet and looked at it, she felt bad about herself. She felt bad about the fact that she had nothing to wear. She felt bad about the fact that the beautiful things that she had, much like me, were no longer serving her. She couldn't wear them, and they just made her feel bad. So we talked about it, and she sent me a photo, and she had four huge garbage bags full of clothes that she was going to be donating. And she decided, I realized that I don't want to keep apologizing for what I wear. So that Monday, she bought 3 outfits that fit who she was now. Nothing fancy, just something that she could feel comfortable in. And the comment was that was the first time in years she walked into work and didn't wish that she was invisible. It's not about fashion. It's about freedom. It was emotional for her. It was releasing the version of her that meant she needed to stay small, who dressed to disappear or to impress, one end of the scale or the other, but rarely to feel like herself. And now she's not interested in shrinking anymore. For me, I want to feel spacious in the clothing that I wear. I want to feel in my clothes, in my breath, and in my life like I belong. Because letting go of what no longer fits you, physically or emotionally, is how we make room for the new things to come in. So I'll ask you, what no longer fits? What is it that you want to get rid of? And I'm not talking about just your closet. I'm talking about your self-talk, your schedule, your body story. What things are you holding on to that you have quietly outgrown? In this episode, I wanted to talk about how taking the act of actually clearing out your closet is a bigger step to let new and other things come into your life. So remember, small steps bring about real strength and a reintroduction to the body and the life you're actually living in now. This is about allowing you to become who you are meant to be at this stage of your life. That's it for today. Bye for now. That's it for this reset. Grab your free gift, your Midlife Superpower, 5 simple power moves to feel like yourself again. The link is anagelesslife.com/superpower. Thanks again. Bye-bye.
I'm Michelle Abraham, founder of High Vibe Podcast Network, and we're honored to have Diana Devi's show, Midlife Reset, as part of our network family. For more inspiring shows like this one, visit highvibepodcastnetwork.com. And don't forget to grab your free gifts from our hosts in the gift vault. Stay high vibe and keep sharing your life.